All right, welcome in live. Here we are. It's the Hayden Coker Show live here in Savannah, Georgia. Live from the original Pancake House here in Savannah. Massive thank you, massive shout out to Mr. Brian Skinner for letting us do our show here from the original Pancake House in Savannah. Massive shout out to him. This is the Hayden Coker Show live here, we are sponsored and presented to you by Senator Lance Bell every single week and week out. Mr. Senator Lance Bell. Best man I know, the best man he knows, the greatest man out there. Of course, he'll tell you that. And, man, we're here. We're live. We're back. We're not back in Savannah, but here we are, man. It's great to be out here. It was beautiful, man. The game last night, I had to come out here to broadcast the high school football game last night. We broadcasted Benedictine versus Central, and that was just an amazing game. Well, I say amazing game. It was a fun game to watch. Stephen Cannon, quarterback for Benedictine, who is currently a Texas Tech commit, the 2026 class. He's just a straight dog. 3-star, a really good quarterback, extremely athletic. You had a linebacker. He's also a defensive end. I believe he's the class of 2027, LaDamian Guyton. He was extremely good, man. And that was just a fun game to watch, man. A bunch of athletes on the field. J.R. Harris, quarterback for Central. I didn't have the greatest game, but, I mean, he played Benedictine. I think that Benedictine will go out there and they will probably win state. They were that good of a football team. So, yeah, that was that. We had a fun time last night broadcasting the game. It was I don't know if you call it downtown Savannah, but it was close to downtown. I got to do a little touring. Saw the cobblestone roads. We were on River Street for a little bit. We saw some of the tour boats and river boats and everything. So that was really fun. It is my dream to go on a riverboat cruise here. That would be awesome. I could think of not too many things I don't think would be better than that. But anyways, all right, let's get into football, okay? This is the Hayden Coker Show presented to you by Senator Lance Bell. Here we are live from the original Pancake House in Savannah, Georgia. And like I said earlier, massive shout-out to Brian Skinner for letting us do the show here, just letting us come talk out of our butt and have fun, man. We're excited for it, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to dive in, guys. Last night, if anybody was able to catch the Texas and Texas A&M game, you missed a good one, a low-scoring game, and Texas, they scored late to make it a little bit worse than it actually was, 27-17. But overall, that game, pretty close game, defensive war, really. Another defensive war, Georgia Tech. Georgia got the win over Tech 16-9. It was a fun game there. And then you had the early slate yesterday in Ole Miss and Mississippi State. These are the SEC games. Ole Miss, they went out there, they won, they did their business. And is Lane Kiffin staying? Is he going? I don't know. I don't know what's happening. I know he's kind of put in a tough situation with how everything's kind of circulating. Now, he's been offered a life-changing amount of money, and I don't. And here's how I see it: if you're offered a life-changing amount of money, and you're in mid-season, like Nick Saban said, this is a college football conundrum. None of this stuff needs to be happening mid-season. Ole Miss is in the midst of a playoff run. They just solidified a playoff spot, and now they have to deal with this whole, is Lane Kiffin going to LSU or not? This is not Lane Kiffin's fault. Now, how Lane Kiffin has handled it, if you want to go that direction, then you can. But this is not a Lane Kiffin problem. It's a college football problem, as Nick Saban said. And for me, I know personally, I can sit here and say that obviously I'm not being offered $90 million. Nobody's offering me $90 million to broadcast their show over my show over the platform. That's not happening. Okay, maybe $90, maybe $9, maybe 9 cents, but not $90 million. And see, that's kind of the thing, and that's where I think a lot of people are sort of misconstruing this and getting a little bit confused by it or flipping things one way when they aren't actually going that way. What I mean when I say that is I don't think that Lane Kiffin, like you said yesterday in the press conference, I don't think he has his mind made up yet. Okay, he has to make that decision by today, whenever the 28th is. So, yeah, so that's today, I believe. And, yeah, he's got to make that decision. That's not our decision to make. That's not anybody else's decision to make. That's not any reporter decision to make, especially if they want to call him a hoe or say he's acting like a hoe, but which is asinine. But that's a whole other story. We won't talk about it. Anyways, that reporter's stupid and deserves to lose his job after that one. Maybe not lose his job, but anyways, moving on. So let me just make sure real quick. Yeah, so it is the 29th. Okay, there we go. So he has to make a decision by the 29th. Okay, so here we are, November 29th, and still no decision made as of late. Obviously, they're a little earlier. They are on Central Time. I'm on Eastern Time, guys. I'm on Eastern Time. That means I'm cooler than everybody else. All right, so Eastern Time, what is it, about 8:05, 8:07 or so, something like that. So, yeah, we're on Eastern Time over here, and I got up this morning about 6 o'clock and made my way over here to the original Pancake House, stayed in the Marriott in Midtown, I think, somewhere. It was a good stay. It was a good stay. Lovely, lovely hostesses. So it was a fun time, a good time. I got in my hotel last night about 11 o'clock, officially laid down for sleep, I think at around 12. So I don't know, man. It was a fun time. Like I said, we're having a great time out here in Savannah. I'm going to – I thought I was going to tour a little bit around the day, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to – as soon as I leave here, I think I'm just going to head back to Alabama, get back from Vandy, Tennessee. And we got to catch that one. Got to have all the film we can on that one to break down for you next week. And no, man, I've got to get back for it. So Jack State, Western Kentucky, they're going to be playing this afternoon as well. So that's going to be another fun game as well. We're going to talk about the Iron Bowl a little bit later, but everybody knows about the Iron Bowl. I know I'm in Savannah, Georgia right now, and this is maybe the Iron Bowl isn't the most popular topic, but back home, everybody listening back home, they know about the Iron Bowl, and this is one of the most important weekends of the year. Okay, Christmas, oh yeah. It's one of the most important days of the year. That's probably the best day of the year for some people. The Iron Bowl is probably number 2, okay? Thanksgiving is right there as well. A few years ago, I remember the Egg Bowl was being played on Thanksgiving. I remember going live from my dining room while the Egg Bowl was going on. We had Callie Stanford on. Now she's at a college up in New York. So she's doing her thing. She's killing it too. So massive shout out to Callie Stanford as well up there in New York. Next door neighbor, across the road. Anyways, but no, yeah, guys, like I said, the Iron Bowl, it doesn't take a back seat, okay? The game right there, number 2, number 3. You obviously have Red River, which is not played at the end of the year. That's mid-season, but that's one of the best games that I think I look forward to all year. I would put maybe the Iron Bowl then. Honestly, I would put Red River up there with the Iron Bowl. I think you could toss the two up. Iron Bowl right there, and then you have the game. I think the game sits right at number 3 for me. Those are my top 3 rankings when it comes to college football rivalries. That's just personally what I love. Rivalry weekend, with it being the best weekend of the year from a football standpoint, I can firmly say that I certainly do. And now when it comes to Auburn, Alabama, I can firmly say that is one of the games I will watch from first snap to last snap. Okay, now a few years ago, I didn't watch the last snap of the game. It was so Auburn was running down the field. I wonder, maybe that was the last snap of the game. So it was a few years ago. It's 2023, 4th and Milrow, if that's what you want to call it. What ended up happening was Jalen Milrow throws a pick, okay, excuse me, Peyton Thorne throws an interception, and it's returned. I believe it was by Terry. Was it Terry and Arnold? Yeah, Terry and Arnold returned by Terry and Arnold down to like the 3-yard line, and I just turned it off after that. I can't remember if that was the last play or if Alabama nailed it. But I think that might have been the final play. Regardless, when it comes to rivalry weekend, I will sit and watch from first snap to last snap to some of these games. Now, Ohio State, Michigan is another one of those games that you can do that with. They're just a bunch of games you can do that with. Vandy and Tennessee as well. That's a fun one. Kentucky, Louisville. That's always a good one. Texas A&M. They played last night. That's a fun game. So there's a lot of fun games that we can sit here and break down. But we just don't have, we do have time to do it, but not today. We're gonna say what we need to say. We're gonna bounce and get out of these people's way, man. But like I said, massive shout out here to Mr. Brian Skinner and Miss Lisha, who's taking care of me this morning here at the original Pancake House in Savannah. So massive shout out to those guys. I'll be back here again for sure. But yeah, no, guys, North Texas and Tulane, they're going to be playing more than likely in the AAC next weekend, the championship game. That's going to be a fun one because, guys, that could very well decide who goes to the playoff in the group of 5. Okay, so we have those G5 teams. You can throw in James Madison as well. But right now, I think that North Texas and Tulane are those 2 teams that the committee is looking at. Now, JMU, I personally think is – I don't know. I feel like JMU is probably the best team in the group of 5. But you have to look at resume, okay? In the group of 5, who has that best resume? Tulane, although they have the 2 losses, they've also defeated 2 Power 4 teams in Duke and then also Northwestern. Now, I know that they aren't necessarily like the most powerful Power 4 teams out there, but they're still Power 4 teams, and when it comes to resume, those guys are it. We've got some people chiming in on the live chat this morning. We appreciate it. Oh, man. I put Texas in the playoffs last night. Jim Hamlin said, not going to reach out my comment from 10 minutes ago. See Kevin Moore almost identical posting. Well, so anyways, so what he's referring to, and that's Jim Hamlin, by the way. Massive shout out to Jim Hamlin of Asheville, Alabama. Kevin Moore posted a comment as to why, or I can't remember exactly if he was saying that Texas deserved to be in or didn't deserve to be in. But basically what happened was Texas won last night. They beat A&M, and now we have a whole conundrum going on. Okay, we have a conundrum, a Texas conundrum, as you could say. Texas, they very well could make the playoffs after beating Texas A&M last night. What's that, 3 top 10 teams now? 3 top 10 wins now? Okay, now the win versus Vandy was huge for Texas because, in my opinion, I think they needed that in order to stay in it. Now that loss to Georgia, obviously that hurts their chances just a tad. But that game was no blowout by any means. I didn't think that. Now I'll say this: I didn't think that Texas ever felt that they were in control. It never felt like that. But that game was not a blowout. I thought that Texas was right there the whole time. And then in the fourth quarter, Kirby Smart did Kirby Smart things, and he found a way to pull away in that game. That's just kind of how I see that. We are 11 minutes in here live from the original Pancake House in Savannah, Georgia. And then we're going to break down the HCS Power 12. We're going to compare the HCS Power 12 here to the college football playoff rankings. And I want to go ahead and do that here in just a second. But let's go ahead and look at the 12th spot in the college football playoff rankings. Right now, that's Miami. So college football playoff rankings, Miami. We'll go with the HCS Power 12 first to keep everybody from getting a little confused. All right, let's start with the group of 5. All right, so that group of 5 position, that's going to be Tulane right now. That's where I have them. I have Tulane at the G5 spot. I have Vandy at 11, Alabama at 10, Oklahoma at 9, BYU at 8, Oregon 7, Ole Miss at 6, Texas Tech at 5, and then Georgia is at 4, but obviously Texas A&M at 3. But this was prior to the game last night, so this is obviously going to change. But Texas A&M 3, Indiana 2, Ohio State 1. Okay, now let's contrast a little bit. So let's leave that up here. Now let's go with the college football playoff rankings that I have on the iPad here. Miami at 12. You have BYU at 11, Bama at 10, Notre Dame at 9, OU at 8. You have Ole Miss at 7, Oregon 6, Texas Tech 5, Georgia 4, A&M 3, Indiana 2, Ohio State 1. Now that is the college football playoff rankings. So we can kind of compare and contrast those as we go. But the thing about it is that BYU's at an interesting position that they're at number 11. There's a chance they get left out of the playoff if they don't win that Big 12 championship game. But here's the thing, because right now it's looking like it's going to be, I believe it's Texas Tech. Yeah, it's Texas Tech and BYU. So that's just going to be a rematch. And I don't think that BYU can stop Texas Tech. I think that Tech is very strong defensively. I think they'll have a hard time running the ball, BYU anyways. And throwing the ball as well. Barry Buckmeyer did not have a great game last time they played. He turned the ball over, and he just can't do that against Texas Tech. You can't tell him to turn the ball over at all because Texas Tech, I think they have one of the better defenses in the country. They have an extremely good front seven, and they can sling the ball over the field with Baron Morton. Dicker, the running back, he's really good. So I'm really curious to see where Texas Tech goes and how they end up over the next few weeks. But when it comes to BYU, they're in trouble, okay? They've got to have some style points because if BYU wins next week and they beat Texas Tech, then BYU's in the playoff. Texas Tech, I would assume, would be too because I think you put a Texas Tech team in right now over Texas. That would just be my opinion. But obviously you can't go by hypotheticals in this game because we all know how that goes. We all know how that works. Let's move on here. As we kind of digress from that. Let's talk about Tulane, James Madison, and North Texas. So James Madison on the outside looking in right now. They are going to be on the outside looking into North Texas and Tulane because they have the American Athletic Championship game next weekend. And I just don't see an avenue for James Madison to make it. If that is the two teams, if those are the two teams that the playoff committee are favoring, and North Texas and Tulane, I just don't see James Madison jumping either one because let's just face it, North Texas, they played some phenomenal ball. They've lost their head coach Eric Morris to Oklahoma State though. Okay, Tulane might be in the same boat. We could very well be seeing an AAC champion in the college football playoffs without their sitting head coach. Now, I don't know where that goes. I haven't seen if Oklahoma State's going to let Eric Morris coach throughout the rest of the season. I don't think that's happening. I'll have to do a little more research on that and let everybody know. But as far as I know, I don't think that's happening. But obviously things happen, and we can kind of digress from that and focus on the main thing here. This is the Hayden Coker Show presented to you by Senator Lance Bell. Massive shout out as well to Steel 174. Steel 174, they can get your house built easily. The guys with Daniel Welch, Dawson Welch, Bobby Welch, and they got a whole crew over there. They got Mr. Isaiah over there, Skylar Cross. They've got a bunch of good guys over there on that crew. They build a house at a superb level. So those guys at Steel 174, they deserve all the love and attention that they get. So go on the Steel 174 Facebook page, like I said, on Facebook, and those guys will get you covered. They are still strong, still reliable, Steel 174. Like I said, Steel 174 on Facebook. They'll get you right. All right, now, massive shout out to the original Pancake House in Savannah here for taking care of us this morning. Miss Lisha has been great to us, as well as Mr. Brian Skinner. Mr. Brian Skinner, the owner here. So doing phenomenal this morning. But, yeah, man, and now it's time to move on. Bama, they have a massive game against Auburn in the Iron Bowl. All right, so the Iron Bowl here, this is going to be a fun one, guys. So the Iron Bowl, this is going to be one of those Finkel and Einhorn situations, okay? Both of them are really, really good. I don't necessarily know. I can't solve this puzzle just yet. I do. I have an answer for you. This is a hard puzzle to solve, okay? Finkel and Einhorn situation, this is one of those situations where we will figure out who ends up winning this game. The problem is who's going to end up kissing the man, okay? Finkel, Einhorn, Auburn, Alabama. I can go back and forth on it all I want to. But when it comes to this game, let me just break this down for you. Okay, Bama and Auburn, both defensively, they allow conversions on third down 35% of the time. And obviously that's a heck of a stat for both defenses. Both are really solid. I think that Auburn, I don't think that Auburn has the upper hand defensively. I think both defenses are really solid. Now, Auburn's front seven, I think, is a little bit better than Alabama's, but Alabama's secondary is a little bit better than Auburn's secondary. So this is one of those situations. I can sit here and I can toss it up and Finkel and Einhorn it, but now I got to look at the offenses, okay? Ashton Daniels going to get the start today for Auburn. He sat out last week, and Deuce Knight got to play against Mercer, and Deuce Knight looked good. But Ashton Daniels is going to get the start today to preserve Ashton Daniels' red shirt. So he, like I said, he missed last week. He wanted that red shirt. Now, guess what? He's starting this week. And Ashton Daniels looked good against Vandy, okay? But here's the thing. Vanderbilt does not have a good pass defense. So what's going to happen with that, I don't necessarily know. I don't think it'll be too big of an issue. But what I can say, I can firmly say this. I do think this will be a close game down to the end. I think it'll be a one-score game, probably with 2 minutes left. Alabama, if they have the final possession of the game, they're going to go out there, they're going to get it done. If Auburn has the final possession of the game, we don't know. Have we seen enough from their offense to say that they can go down the field, they can march down the field and get that win? I don't necessarily know. I don't think so. So I'm taking Alabama in this game. I think that Alabama wins it. I think they get a close win. And God, I hope they win this game because I do. I put out a post earlier on Facebook a few days ago, I guess. Yeah, I guess it was Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. I put out a post saying that I would bleach my hair if Auburn won the game. So I made a bet with all my listeners out there, all my viewers, and that's just how that goes. Kenneth Phillips says, good morning, buddy. Good morning to you, Kenneth. Hope the family's doing well on this Iron Bowl Saturday. Mr. Kenneth, the owner at City Market in Pelt City, fantastic place to go eat. But, yeah, man, I just don't see Auburn winning this game. I don't see an avenue for them winning this game at all. I just don't. But I do think that Alabama comes out on top at the end. I think it'll be a close game all the way around. Auburn, offensively, I do think they hang in there. But the problem with that will be defensively for Alabama is the run game. I think that Auburn gets a little bit creative in the run game. But I don't necessarily think that they will hurt. I don't think that will hurt Alabama too bad. I think that – and what I mean when I say that is I think Auburn will get up at one point. I don't think it'll stay. Okay, I think Alabama will kind of remain, not necessarily in control, but they will remain on top. They'll battle back, and then they'll eventually win the football game. Now, moving on, we have Wisconsin, Minnesota, another one of those Finkel-Einhorn situations. But this is the battle for Paul Bunyan's axe, okay? So they're battling for Paul Bunyan's axe. And I want to know if Wisconsin can – and by the way, they made the switch to Carter Smith, the quarterback, the freshman. If Carter Smith can go out there and he can pick apart this Wisconsin defense, which he does not have to do, I think they'll win this game. I don't think he has to do that in order for the Badgers to get a win against Minnesota. What I think does have to happen, though, they've got to establish it on the ground. That is the only possible way they win this game. That is the only possible way they win it. All right, now, Ohio State, Michigan. I'm taking Minnesota in that game, by the way. Ohio State, Michigan in the game here at 11 a.m. That's going to be a fun one, or 12 a.m. Eastern time, 11 Central. That's going to be a fun matchup. I personally think that Ohio State's going to win that game. This is one of the best rivalries we will watch all year. I think that Ohio State wins that football game. I think that Michigan is just too stagnant on offense. I don't think they get much going. Bryce Underwood, phenomenal. I have a lot of respect for him. It's going to be, I believe it's Jordan Marshall, getting started running back today for Michigan. So you're missing Justice Haynes, but Marshall's up there. He's pretty good running back too. So I think that this will be a close game at first, but in the end, I think that Ohio State will eventually pull away. And whether that's a fourth quarter pull away or what, I think they win the game and they pull away. All right, now Miami at Pitt. Miami at Pitt going to be a fun one as well. I think that Pitt has all the ingredients to upset Miami here. Now it's an away environment. It's going to be cool up in Pittsburgh. I think that Carson Beck forces too many turnovers. And when I say forces, I think he's going to try to force the ball in too many spots to where it's not going to be able to fit. Penn State. I think that Pitt ends up, like I said, forcing a little too many turnovers. They end up winning that game. And I think Pitt, they're not going to make a strong case for the playoff at all. Obviously, it's a 4-loss team now, maybe 3-loss anyways. Regardless, I think they're still a 3-loss team. But regardless, I think they win the game against Miami, and they knock Miami out of playoff contention. That's how I see that one going. Okay, now we have, like I said, Paul Bunyan's asked earlier. That's going to be a fun one. I think that Minnesota chops down Wisconsin. Jack State versus Western Kentucky. That game's going to be at home. Western Kentucky and the Hilltoppers favored by 3 points in that one. Jack State has one of the best running backs in the nation in Cam Cook. He's up there with leading the nation, guys, in rushing yards. So I think that Jack State wins this game, and I think they win it outright. I genuinely do think that. SMU at Cal, playoff implications. Yes, that's a thing. Control yourself any longer. Can't you show me do that conga? That's a good song. SMU at Cal, playoff implications. I didn't think I'd be saying that at the beginning of the year. It does. I think Cal's a really, I won't say really good team. I think they're a solid team. Now let's take a look at Justin Wilcox. As California fired their head coach, Justin Wilcox, last week. What's going to happen with this game, okay? A lot of the time we see teams win. We see teams win after their head coach is fired. Sometimes we see them lose badly, okay? Virginia Tech. But I don't know. I don't necessarily know if I see Cal winning this game, but I think it'll be close. I think the SMU wins. SMU can still win the ACC, by the way. And, by the way, a 3-loss SMU team in the playoffs, it can happen. It can happen. I'll take SMU. Vandy at Tennessee. This is going to be a fun one in Knoxville, Tennessee. I'll take the Vanderbilt Commodores and Diego Pavia. I think the Pavias, the Fighting Pavias, I think they go out there, they win this game. And Clark Lee, he just had an extension. He received an extension from the Commodore faithful. And I think that Vandy wins this game, man. Too stout defensive. Well, I'll say defensively. Offensively is where I think they win the game. But I think defensively they get a few stops late in that game. Force Joey Aguilar to force a two, or I say force. He's going to throw a turnover or two in there. He's going to throw a pick or two. And I think that Vandy wins this game, okay? I don't think that Vandy has a great secondary, but forcing turnovers today, that's going to be where they make their money, okay? Diego Pavia, he's going to go out there. He's going to do his thing. He's going to continue to make his case for the Heisman Trophy. Now, the question, does he do that? I don't know if he does win the Heisman Trophy. I don't think it'll happen at this point, but I think it's certainly a possibility. So I'll take Vanderbilt in that game. And we're going to go one more here. We're going to go one more Oregon-Washington. But I think that Vandy wins that game, and they may possibly sneak their way into the playoffs. They don't have bad losses on the year. Those losses, Alabama and Texas. That could do it. All right, now Oregon at Washington. Oregon currently a 7-point favorite. Washington in this game, you've got to watch out for, man. You're playing on the road at Washington. That's one of the most hostile places in the country. Man, I'm telling you, DeMond Williams is one of the best quarterbacks in the Big Ten. I think that they go out there and they give Oregon a fight today. I don't think that they win the game, but I do think that they keep it close, and Oregon will be thinking they're lucky stars if they get out of Washington with a win. So that's what I see today. That's what I think is going to happen. Here we are, 25 minutes here into the Hayden Coker Show live here from the original Pancake House in Savannah, Georgia. Massive shout out once again to Brian Skinner and Miss Lisha for taking care of me this morning. Now, like I said earlier, Steel 174, man. Those guys, they can build the hell out of a house, man. So go down to Steel 174 on Facebook. You can look it up their Facebook page. at Steel 174, and those guys will get you going. Okay, Daniel Welch, Dustin Welch, Bobby Welch, and their fantastic crew that they have. They'll put you up a house in a jiffy, man. I'm telling you, they're good at it. They're good at what they do. They can get it done. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. A short show today, but we've got a plane to catch. We're gonna sound like Jock Beck. We've got a plane to catch. We've got a car to catch home. Got to drive home. Long drive back home to Asheville, Alabama from Savannah. Might sightsee a little bit before we head back home. But regardless, phenomenal time here in Savannah, Georgia. And that's been the Hayden Coker Show presented to you by Senator Lance Bill. I appreciate you guys, and I hope to see you guys back next week with Conference Championship Week. It's going to be a fun one. Y'all come back. Y'all come back and see us next week. HCS Power 12 out this week. Tomorrow morning. So that'll be out tomorrow morning. Also, do not forget Conference Championship Weekend. We're going to be back, and we're going to be live next weekend as well. So not from Savannah, Georgia. We will be back in Alabama, but it is what it is. Guys, I appreciate you so much. We'll see y'all next week. Y'all have a good one. Please, 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 please do not get in any trouble until next week. I need you in my viewership. Okay? I don't need you in jail. All right? Y'all have a good one. Take care and peace.